So I think it's truly crucial to understand why things are getting more expensive, why everything is costing more and more, why it's harder to get by on the same paycheck, and why every good and service used on a daily basis is getting harder to reach. And it's not because of one politician or one law or one policy or one corporation, right? It's because the measuring stick we're using to measure goods and services is shrinking every year. And this is a really important analogy to understand, so bear with me here, right? So say you're measuring something with a meter stick, right? Every year that meter stick shrinks by 3 to 6% or something like that, sometimes more in cases of emergency. That shrinking is inflation, right? The expansion of the money supply. So each unit of currency buys less and less every year. So you're measuring the same thing, right? It says a meter no matter what, but it's still shrinking. So you're measuring, say, a car, right? You're saying it's 5 meters, that the measuring stick shrinks 3 to 6%. And then you're like, oh my God, my car grew so much, right? It was 5 meters. And now a couple years later, it's 7 meters. Like, how did that happen, right? The car didn't get bigger. The measuring stick you're using to measure the car shrunk, right? It's really that simple. And we're made to think economics is so complicated. There's all these different factors. And it's this guy's fault my groceries are more expensive. And if I elect this person, then my groceries will get cheaper and we'll all live happily ever after. Well, the fact is we live in a fiat monetary system that's based on credit and debt. And the only way to keep the economy running is to keep expanding the supply of money, keep printing money, keep devaluing each unit of currency, or the system will implode on itself. So yeah, things are getting more expensive, but not because they're getting higher quality or harder to attain or more scarce. It's because, like I said, that unit of measurement is broken. It's fundamentally broken. And it's such a simple shift in how you view things, but if you view things that way, it'll just skyrocket your understanding of economics and how our money actually works, how the monetary system really works. And that'll give you a much better framework, and you'll be way ahead of the curve for people who don't think this way and just blame others for why things are getting more expensive. It's really a freeing way to view the world because it really simplifies things. And it is simple, right? The monetary system's made to be complicated. There's all these central banks and monetary policy and quantitative easing and quantitative tightening, but it's really much more simple than that when you really take it apart and try to understand it on a fundamental level. And what's the solution, right? If we're just talking about the problem, it doesn't help anything. So what is the solution? Well, the solution is a monetary system that can't be inflated, can't be debased, right? A deflationary monetary system where no one can inflate the supply and devalue your savings, right? I just truly think this framework is such a uniting issue, right? The issue of our monetary system, we all save in currency, right? We all use money to exchange and store value. So it's honestly no wonder that people don't talk about this. I think it's too uniting of an issue to talk about the fundamental cracks in the monetary system. And I think that's why so many issues in the Overton window are so divisive, right? It's impossible to see eye to eye on these issues. But the monetary system, we can all agree that something is wrong with our money, right? And if we all just understand that this is a fundamental structural issue and it's inherent to the fiat system itself, I think we will move forward together in a much more productive and uniting way and really start to work together to solve our issues instead of blaming someone else for them. Like I said, there's no party to blame in this case. I mean, there are certain groups, but it's best to look forward and create a new monetary system that has no rulers, right? Humans shouldn't have control over the supply and the cost of borrowing money, which is what our current central banking system is. It's a small group of people who control the creation of new money, who control the interest rates of lending money, which that should just have never been in humans' hands in the first place, or a small group of people. That should be determined by the market, right? The market should decide what the cost and the supply, what the cost and the flow of money is. So this monetary system exists today, and it's about voluntary participation. That's another, big shift with the fiat system to this new parallel developing decentralized monetary system. It's voluntary participation. We've all been born into this fiat system, this fiat debt credit-based system, and it's forced participation, right? Even around the world, the dollar, right, is forced upon people all across the world. It's the global reserve currency, and no one has a say in that. So the power of a decentralized, neutral monetary system is that it's all upon voluntary participation, right? There's no forced adoption of this system. There's a lot of great books on this topic. If you're interested, The Bitcoin Standard is a great one, which goes over the history of our monetary system from gold to fiat, things like that. Broken Money by Lynn Alden, that's a really good one. The Creature of Jekyll Island is a great book for going into the creation of the Federal Reserve System, which is the groundwork for central banking and the fiat system that we have today. There's other great ones. I can put a list of books in the description if you're interested in any of those. And just reading like one of those books is really just going to put you ahead of 99% of people who don't think this way. And you'll really be able to see where the world is going and heading by being ahead of this now. So again, my name is Josh. I make daily videos here on YouTube. If you want to support my mission, just leave a like and subscribe. That helps out a ton. And I just really appreciate the support on the channel. Let me know if you have any questions or suggestions for future video topics. If you want to get some Bitcoin for yourself, check out the links in the description for River or Strike. Those are my two favorite Bitcoin exchanges. And as always, together, let's work, save, and build a better future with Bitcoin. See you in the next video.